Here are the top 10 things to know about living in Fort Walton Beach, Florida before you move here. Welcome back, I'm Charlie Cameron, leader of the Military Home Team, the top-rated military real estate team serving our military and veterans across the entire Florida Panhandle. If you need any help whatsoever in your home search or just getting acquainted with the area, feel free to reach out or check out our resources in the links below. Today we're taking a closer look at Fort Walton Beach, a hidden gem in the Florida Panhandle. If you're thinking of calling this beautiful place your home, you've come to the right video. We're going to cover everything from lifestyle, community, jobs, real estate, the military bases, and everything else you need to know about the area so you can make the best decision possible. So let's jump into the top 10 things to know. Number one, let's talk about location and climate. So Fort Walton Beach is located along the Florida Panhandle. We call this the Emerald Coast, and we're located right in between Pensacola to our west and Panama City Beach to our east. We are slightly west of Destin and the 30A area, which is a super popular tourist destination. And Fort Walton Beach is fairly popular as well, especially Okaloosa Island in the summer. Fort Walton Beach offers a lot of beach and coastline and those type of related outdoor activities, and it's right next to both Hurlburt Field and Eglin Air Force Base. Because we're at the beach in Florida, we have a subtropical humid environment and it's very warm here in the summers, as well as we have really nice mild winters. This makes this a perfect location for outdoor lovers year-round. Number two, let's talk about the cost of living here in Fort Walton. Fort Walton offers a surprisingly reasonable cost of living compared to other coastal areas as well as urban areas across the United States. Housing, groceries, fuel, utilities are all fairly affordable, although prices can go up depending on the proximity to the beach. Whether you're looking for a beachfront condo, a more starter townhome, or a traditional detached single-family home, Fort Walton offers all of those across various price points. So there's a range of options to suit different lifestyles, different financial situations, and different family situations. According to the National Association of Realtors, the median price for homes in the United States as a whole is around $410,000 as of June 2023. As a comparison for the same time period, according to the actual home sale data I have access to as a realtor, the median price for a home in Fort Walton Beach was around $350,000. So that's a 15% lower price compared to the national median home price. Now, of course, this is going to vary by age of the home, size of the home, finish of the home, location of the home, especially as it relates to nearness and proximity to the water, as well as which neighborhood a home is in. We'll talk more about Fort Walton real estate in a little bit. But number three, we can't talk about living in Florida without talking about homeowners insurance costs. Given our coastal location, the Florida Panhandle has higher insurance costs than the national average due to the risk of hurricanes. In general, Florida homeowners insurance is about 40% higher than the national median, according to Bankrate.com. And we see insurance costs vary based on the size of the home, the newness of the home, especially as it relates to the roof and windows, the type of the home, and whether the home is in a higher risk flood zone. Now, I know the term hurricane and flood can sound pretty scary. It's important to remember a few things. Number one is that significant catastrophic events are fairly rare, though we do commonly have smaller storms in the area. For example, a few years ago, a storm that downgraded by the time it hit the coast knocked over an older fence that we had to replace. Another thing to note is that that's kind of the point of insurance, right? Anywhere you go, let's say you're in Oklahoma, you might have tornadoes, you're in California, you might have wildfires or earthquakes, and that's the whole point of insurance, to cover us for these types of events, which over a very long period of time could happen. And the last thing is we recommend that everyone get flood insurance, even if you're not in a higher risk flood zone where you'll be required to, because that way you're just covered in the event of any scenario. And as your real estate experts, we can help estimate insurance costs on specific homes. Number four, let's talk about the economy and the job market. So all around Fort Walton are two giant military bases. So there are a ton of jobs related to the military, contractor and civilian jobs, as well as, of course, active duty and reserve jobs. Additionally, Fort Walton is a major tourism market, and we have tourism markets all along the Florida Panhandle. So there are a lot of hospitality and tourism related jobs, as well as lots of retail and service-based industries. And there are a ton of healthcare and tech related jobs as well. Plus, the Florida Panhandle is a really great place to start a business. There are always new businesses popping up in Fort Walton Beach, and it offers a lot of opportunity in the job market. Number five, we have to talk about the military community for a minute. Fort Walton Beach literally touches both Hurlburt Field and Eglin Air Force Base. Hurlburt Field is the Air Force Special Operations Command base. It's where the headquarters is, and a lot of that training and operations is based out of. And then Eglin Air Force Base is the weapons development arm of the United States Air Force, as well as there's additional missions going on all over the place. We've got Duke Field just north of Fort Walton Beach with 7th Special Forces Group. We've got the EOD training school and dive school for all the services. So you'd be hard pressed to find a more military community than this one, because that Fort Walton Beach offers a super military friendly atmosphere and respect for our military members. And there's a massive veteran and retiree population because guess what? We all love living here, and a lot of people come back to retire here. Number 6, we can't talk about Fort Walton Beach without talking about tourism popularity. Tourism is a major aspect of life on the Florida Panhandle. It's known as the Emerald Coast for a great reason. We have some of the most beautiful white sandy beaches and emerald looking water in the world. So naturally, most of the Southeast United States vacations right here. Destin, Florida is a super well-known location, and it's literally right next to Okaloosa Island, which is part of Fort Walton Beach. Okaloosa Island is almost like a mini, less expensive Destin, so you have lots of vacation goers year-round, but mostly in the summer. Now this comes with some pros and some cons. Some of the pros are you get access to amazing dining, amazing activities, and recreation that you wouldn't normally have access to, as well as some of the best beaches in the world, of course. And as residents of the Panhandle, we love playing tourist, especially in the non-tourist seasons. Now the two biggest cons are that things get really crowded in the summertime and around spring break, so you might want to avoid driving on Okaloosa Island and through Destin during that time frame, as well as food, drinks, retail, all go for a premium when things are right on the water. So those things can be more expensive, even if the quality maybe isn't that much better. Now there are great touristy restaurants, don't get me wrong, some we love going to, but many just happen to be really expensive food places that can charge that because there's so many people here during the summer. Number 7, culture and community. So we already talked about how military friendly the community is. The community also loves our tourists because that's a huge part of our economy. And so there's a lot of really cool touristy type events throughout the year, including the Billy Bowlegs Pirate Festival, the Fort Walton Seafood Festival, the Destin Fishing Rodeo, as well as many other fun events throughout the year. There's always a ton of stuff going on between Okaloosa Island and downtown Fort Walton Beach. So definitely check those areas out and check out the Panhandle PCS Facebook community for weekly weekend events updates. Number 8, we got to talk about outdoor recreation for the Florida Panhandle and Fort Walton Beach in particular. Not only do you have access to super relaxing, amazing beaches, but there's a ton of boating activity, from hanging out at Crab Island, just recreational boating, to deep sea fishing, to diving, and everything in between. There's also touristy type activities. A lot of people in the Panhandle choose to own boats for this reason. There's just a lot to do. There's also a ton of awesome land-based activities since the weather is so great year-round, including golfing, hiking, camping, and more. There are a ton of great local parks, dog parks, as well as lots of smaller regional parks and walking paths and national parks. Don't be surprised if you pick up a paddleboarding, fishing, golfing, or jet skiing hobby while you're here. Number 9, let's talk about transportation and accessibility. There's really not a lot of public transportation in the area, so you're going to need a car to get around. Additionally, we're really close to I-10, so within a 30-minute drive or so, you'll be on I-10, be able to head east and west across the Panhandle very quickly. You can head east and hit 75 and go down south towards Orlando without much effort at all. And because we're in Fort Walton Beach, we have access to multiple airports. There's one right attached to Eglin Air Force Base, and that's growing like crazy with a lot of Allegiant flights now as well as we've got Pensacola Airport and Panama City. So that gives us a lot of options to find multi-leg or sometimes even non-stop travel across the United States. And from Fort Walton, you can drive across a bridge onto Okaloosa Island and across a bridge, and you're now in Destin, Florida, one of the most highly sought after, coveted beach vacation destinations in the United States. And within an hour or so, you can be in Pensacola, and within an hour and a half, you can be in Panama City. And number 10, last but not least, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't mention the real estate market. Fort Walton Beach, like I said, offers everything from condos to townhomes to single family homes of every age, from older homes to new builds and everything in between. Here's a couple interesting things I want to note about the Fort Walton Beach real estate market. It's important to note that in Fort Walton Beach, homes tend to be a little bit older than the average in the area. We're talking late 60s, early 70s, and that can come with weird things that pop up in inspections like aluminum wiring. So you definitely want to make sure you partner with a real estate team that can help you provide the best inspectors around to make sure you're covered and we can do our full due diligence on a home search. Another interesting thing about Fort Walton Beach real estate is, more than other areas, neighborhoods tend to be incongruent. What I mean by that is all the houses don't look the same. You could have a brand new build home next to a 1970s home that hasn't been fixed up at all. So you can have a lot of weird mixture of homes, as well as there are congruent neighborhoods throughout Fort Walton, but they're more in smaller pockets. So So be sure to look street by street when you look for your home. Fort Walton Beach sits somewhere in the median in terms of price compared to other towns around this area. Crestview being a little bit more affordable, Niceville being a little bit more expensive, and Navarre being about the same price range. Our area of the Florida Panhandle is rather unique because we're confined in the south by the beach and in the north by the 2 military bases and the massive test and training range that surrounds us. So there's not a lot of places to build new build homes in Fort Walton Beach, but you will see older homes being demolished and new ones replacing those. But you won't see a lot of new build neighborhoods. If you'd like to get a more in-depth understanding of current home prices, availability, insurance costs, our team can set you up with a home search, we can set you up with lending options, and we're dedicated to offering you personalized guidance based on your unique needs and preferences for the area, as well as we're happy to answer any questions you might have. So that's the top 10 things you need to know about living in Fort Walton Beach before you move here. If you've got any questions about the area, you're considering a move here, or you're on your way, we've got you covered. Check out our information in the links below. We'd be happy to help you with your home search and be your partners in achieving your real estate goals in the area. And if you're looking for more information on the Florida Panhandle, or you want to see the weekly events every single week around the Florida Panhandle, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you got some value out of this video, smash the like button, and we'll see you next time.